Chen had only reached for her water bottle, but that single movement changed everything. As she stretched across the instructor's table at Camp Ridgway's dining hall, her navy blazer rode up slightly, revealing the edge of a black tattoo sprawled across her shoulder blade. A phoenix, with flames curling around the code NX 4792. It was visible for barely 2 seconds, but long enough for 3 rangers at the nearby table to freeze mid-conversation. The youngest, Corporal Jake Morrison, set his fork down slowly, his eyes fixed on the spot where the marking had disappeared beneath fabric. Staff Sergeant Elena Vasquez leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Did you see that?" The third ranger, Master Sergeant Tom Bradley, gave a subtle shake of his head, but his weathered face had gone pale. Dr. Sarah Martinez, the base's chief medical instructor, was explaining new trauma protocols when she noticed the sudden shift in atmosphere. "Maya, if what you're proposing is accurate, it could save dozens of lives in the field." Maya nodded, but her shoulders had tensed, the instinctive reaction of someone who'd learned to read every room like a battlefield. Captain David Park, sitting at the head of the table, noticed the change too. His coffee cup clinked against the saucer as he set it down. "Sounds like you've been there yourself, haven't you?" The dining hall's ambient noise seemed to fade. Maya turned to meet his gaze, her expression carefully neutral. "I was a trauma surgeon deployed in Iraq from 2003 to 2008. Then civilian emergency medicine. Then training." Her voice carried the practiced calm of someone who'd given this answer many times before. But Captain Park's eyes held a different kind of recognition. "Those were brutal years. We lost a lot of good people, the ones who made it back." He paused, studying her face. "They carried stories they'd never tell." Maya remained silent, but Dr. Martinez caught the way Park's gaze lingered on where the tattoo had been, and she wasn't the only one. Around the dining hall, conversations had quieted. Phones appeared, thumbs moving quickly across screens. By the time Maya stood to leave, she knew the whispers had already begun. "New instructor. Anyone recognize her? Served in Iraq. Asterisk." The morning light, streaming through the hall's windows, painted golden rectangles on the floor. As Maya gathered her materials, she checked her watch, 0745. Her first session with Camp Ridgway's elite medical corps was in 15 minutes. As she walked toward the exit, she could feel eyes tracking her movement, not hostile, but evaluating. At Camp Ridgway, the first 48 hours determined whether an outsider earned respect or remained forever on the periphery. The training facility's steel doors sealed shut behind Maya, with a sound like a bank vault closing. Inside, 18 of the military's top medics sat in precise rows, their posture balanced between attention and skepticism. Civilian instructors were rare at Camp Ridgway, and those who lasted proved themselves within hours or found themselves reassigned. Maya set a worn leather medical bag on the central table. The leather was scratched and faded, but the stitching remained strong, a tool carried by someone who understood the difference between surviving and thriving in impossible circumstances. "For the next 3 weeks, she began, her voice carrying easily through the sterile space, "I'll teach you what the textbooks can't. Equipment fails, communications break down, and you'll have more wounded than hands to treat them." Sergeant First Class Marcus Rodriguez raised his hand. "Ma'am, field medicine is different from hospital surgery. What qualifies you to prepare us for combat conditions?" Iraq, 2003 to 2008, forward operating bases, convoy routes, and situations that never made it into official reports. Maya's reply was matter of fact. But something in her tone made the room's temperature seem to drop. From the third row, Corporal Lisa Chang let out a dry laugh. "Plenty of people deployed to Iraq. We need more than deployment stories to trust you with our lives." Maya walked to the control console. "Then I'll show you." She pressed a series of buttons, and the room transformed. Lights dimmed to a red emergency glow. The sound of helicopters and distant explosions filled the air from hidden speakers. Cool air rushed down from the ceiling, dropping the temperature 15 degrees in seconds. "Scenario 1, Maya announced. "No preparation, no briefing. You have 20 minutes. From hidden panels in the walls, casualty simulators rolled out chest wounds, traumatic amputations, arterial hemorrhaging. A digital countdown appeared on the main screen, 20 o'clock, and falling. Maya began assigning without hesitation. Rodriguez, chest trauma. Chang, amputations. Williams, set up a casualty collection point. Prepare for medevac in 15 minutes. She moved between them like she'd choreographed this dance 1,000 times before. 5 minutes in, Rodriguez's suction unit failed. He froze, staring at the machine. Rodriguez, Maya's voice cut through the simulated chaos. When technology fails, What do you use? He hesitated, then grabbed a water bottle, using it to clear the airway manually. Not by the book, he muttered. The book doesn't account for reality, Maya replied. In the field, working equipment is a luxury you can't count on. Chang struggled with a pressure bandage, cursing under her breath. Need proper materials, she snapped. You don't have them, Maya shot back. Your patient is bleeding out. Improvise, or let them die. Chang's face hardened. She tore a strip from her uniform shirt, twisted it into a makeshift tourniquet, and applied it with the precision of desperation. The simulator's vitals stabilized. Don't worship the tools, Maya said, her eyes locked on Chang. Master the principles. As Maya bent to check another student's work, her blazer pulled tight across her shoulders, revealing more of the phoenix tattoo wings spread wide around the code NX 4792. Corporal Morrison caught it clearly this time, and his face went white. He'd seen that exact marking in a classified briefing 2 years ago. The timer hit 0. Emergency lighting returned to normal. The sound effects died. Maya stood in the center of the room, scanning each face. Tomorrow, we add complications. Equipment shortages, communication failures, and casualties that don't match your training scenarios. She picked up her bag and headed for the door. Rest tonight, you'll need it. The steel doors sealed behind her, leaving 18 medics with the uncomfortable realization that the next 3 weeks would either forge them into something stronger or break them completely. Dawn came early at Camp Ridgeway, announced by air raid sirens that sent everyone scrambling from their quarters. No coffee, no breakfast, just the urgent voice over the PA. All personnel to training area Charlie. Immediate deployment. Maya was already there, dressed in field gear, rain beating off her jacket. Today, we work in reality, she announced to the gathering medics. No safety nets. Training area Charlie had been transformed overnight into a bombed-out urban landscape. Collapsed concrete structures, burning vehicles, colored smoke drifting through narrow streets. Hidden speakers blasted gunfire, explosions, and desperate calls for help. You'll move 2 kilometers through hostile territory, Maya explained. Treat casualties, evacuate friendlies, avoid enemy contact. Time limit, 30 minutes. She checked her watch. Clock starts now. The medics moved out in formation. Rodriguez leading, Chang covering the rear. Rain had turned the dirt roads into treacherous mud. They found their first casualty 300 meters in a simulator, with severe abdominal trauma, pulse weak and fading. As Chang knelt to work, a simulated mortar blast erupted nearby. An actor playing a wounded civilian stumbled out of the smoke, covered in realistic stage blood. Leave him, Rodriguez commanded. Stick to the mission parameters. Chang hesitated, looking between her assigned casualty and the bleeding civilian. Maya stepped into view. Your choice, Corporal. Save who you can, or follow orders that might cost lives. Chang's jaw tightened. She dragged the civilian into her treatment area and began triage on both patients. Rodriguez shot her a look, but kept moving. 200 meters from the extraction point, hidden speakers announced, enemy contact imminent. 30 seconds to engagement. Maya had deliberately removed critical supplies from their medical kits, pressure bandages, morphine, antiseptic, shortages. She called out, adapt. Rodriguez used a rifle sling as a tourniquet. Chang wrapped wounds with fabric torn from a prop dealer's costume. The medics began thinking beyond their equipment, using environment and improvisation to save lives. As Maya helped lift a casualty, her jacket shifted, exposing the full phoenix tattoo for the first time. Wings spread wide, flames curling around the mysterious code NX 4792. Morrison saw it clearly and nearly dropped his end of the stretcher. Ma'am, that marking, he started. Maya's voice cut like ice. Focus on your patient, Morrison. Questions get people killed. They reached extraction with seconds to spare. As the exercise ended, Maya evaluated each performance with clinical precision. Rodriguez, good adaptation under pressure. Chang, civilian save was risky but morally sound. Morrison, you hesitated twice, hesitation equals casualties. She shouldered her pack and walked into the rain, leaving the medics with the uncomfortable knowledge that their instructor operated by rules they were only beginning to understand. That evening, as Maya sat alone in the officers' club, nursing a cup of coffee, Master Sergeant Bradley approached her table. His weathered face was serious, cautious. Ma'am, I need to ask about something I saw today. He sat down without invitation. That tattoo, the phoenix and the code, I've seen it before. Maya's hand moved instinctively to cover her shoulder. You're mistaken, Sergeant. Operation Night Phoenix, Syria, 2007. A surgical unit that officially never existed. Bradley's voice was barely above a whisper. They said everyone died when their base was overrun. Maya's coffee cup clinked against the saucer as she set it down. The reports were accurate, Sergeant. Everyone died. Then who are you? Maya stood, gathering her things. Someone who learned that sometimes the only way to honor the dead is to keep their secrets. She paused at the door. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. Consider that before you dig any deeper. Outside, rain drummed against the windows of the officers' club. Maya crossed the courtyard, her footsteps muffled by the storm. In the shadows by the medical building, a black sedan sat with its engine running. On the windshield, someone had left a small metal token, a phoenix, identical to her tattoo, but with a different code, NX 4801. Maya's blood ran cold. Only 3 people alive knew that number, and 2 of them were supposed to be dead. She pocketed the token and disappeared into the rain-soaked night, knowing that whatever game had ended in Syria 7 years ago was starting again at Camp Ridgeway. In the distance, lightning illuminated the base's perimeter, and somewhere in the darkness, watchers waited for their next move in a deadly game where the rules had never been written down, and the stakes were measured in lives that officially had never existed. The storm continued through the night, washing away footprints but leaving questions that would haunt Camp Ridgeway until the truth finally emerged from the shadows, where heroes and ghosts lived side by side, and the line between the living and the dead grew thinner with each passing hour.